G'day team and welcome back to the channel. My name's Tony and this is the Mighty Overlander, and if this is your first time to the channel, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. It definitely helps small channels like mine grow, but it also keeps you up to date with all of my content as it comes out. Now today we're doing a little bit of a mid-year channel update, talk about a few things, what's been happening behind the scenes, what's going to be happening with camping trips and fishing trips in the future, what's happening with the rig in regards to potential mod installs and all of that kind of stuff, and then also what's happening with things like gear reviews and this space that we're in here at the moment. So go get yourself a nice cold one and let's sit down and have a quick chat. All right, team, so let's talk about the first thing, what's been happening behind the scenes of the channel at the moment. Well, as you can see, I'm here in the Mighty Overlander shed, and this is basically where I'll be shooting a lot of the gear reviews and everything like that. I've got it sorted to a point where, first off, I can store all of my gear a little bit better than I have in the past, but also it's a really good little spot with all the gear behind me where I can sit down and do gear reviews in a dedicated space. So that's pretty handy. The Full Drive and Adventure Show and Wild Track teams, expanding my hobby into a bit more of a mainstream platforms, and that's been really fun. Filming a lot of content with those guys, and that's been a really good way to improve my presenting for you guys, but also just get out there and have a bit of fun and really experience my passion of content creating, this hobby of content creating in a different way. So yeah, that's been really good. If you haven't seen the content that's on those channels, definitely zip over. The Full Drive and Adventure Show on Channel 7 or the 7 Plus app and their own YouTube channel, and the Wild Track Leisure Australia YouTube channel, Wild Track being the main sponsor of the channel. What's happening in the future for camping and fishing trips? Well, actually this Saturday I'm heading out with Dusty to do a saltwater fishing trip. We're just going to go just out into our local area and just chase some squid and potentially snapper or something like that, maybe some whiting. So that's just, I don't know if I'll film that one yet, but it's potential. Then I've also got some trips coming up where we're going to take Keegs out with his new adventure motorbike setup, his new Fantastico motorbike, which looks bloody brilliant, to be honest. They've come a long way with your trail bikes. And then we've also got some stuff that I'll be doing with Andrew from Fantastic Adventures. Recently just got back from doing a camping trip with those guys from Off-Road TV, Andrew from Fantastic Adventures and Ash from Raptor Coating. So yeah, that was really good up at Wedge. So yeah, got a few of those. I will be doing a few camping trips where I don't film. I have been lately, just so I don't have to have the worry of filming behind me. I just kind of get in there and have a bit of fun. And that's been really good. So yeah, there's a few of those things happening. Now the car, let's talk about some of the mods that might be happening on the vehicle. So over the next 6 to 12 months, my focus on the car is going to be around two things: quality of life and the electrical side of things. In particular, with the electrical side of things, I want to improve the way that the 12-volt operates in the back. I won't be changing from the Nomad PDU anytime soon. However, I do want to potentially upgrade the alternator to something a little bit more heavy duty. In particular, one thing I want to do is upgrade the wiring and the power outlets for that onboard 12-volt in the back. So charging the Nomad PDU is easier, but also it just allows me to do a few things, because obviously I've put the 12-volt travel oven in, I've got the fridge, I've got my lighting under the awning and things like that. Speaking of awnings, I'm still humming and hawing about changing from the Batwing awning to something different, potentially the Nomad Bub. That looks like a really good lighter weight 270 awning, and shedding weight from the vehicle at the moment is actually something I'm really focusing on. Speaking of shedding weight, as it stands, I'm probably sitting at about 80 kilos on the roof. When I put my roof rack up there, the front runner table, the awning, plus my swag and stretcher on there, it all adds up really quickly. And funnily enough, if I go a rooftop tent, I could actually lose a little bit of weight there. And if I change out to the Nomad Bub awning, that could change some weight there as well. So as it stands, there's a couple of options for rooftop tents that I might have a look at. So that's going to be potentially the Alucab LT50. There's some other ones from a couple of other brands that it has to be like a hard shell type, because I need it to be kind of on there all the time, and that means that I'd be moving away from that front runner roof rack. the big thing is convenience and quality of life, being able to just pop the top of the tent and jump in, but also trying to shed a little bit of weight from that roof, because that front runner rack and table system's really quite heavy duty. Now, I will be losing that front runner table if I do this, but I've got that new drop down table from K-On, which is handy, and also potentially trying out one of these here. I've only tried it out once. This is one of the tables from Wild Track, and whilst it's not quite as heavy duty as, say, the front runner table, I mean, I think it weighs like a kilo and a half, and it just slots in perfectly into that roof shelf that I've got in there. So there's potential for that. The other things are things like diff breathers and everything like that, just little jobs that I haven't done yet. I've got some brake lights for the back that need doing, and stuff like that. Phil the mechanic and I have been talking about potentials for engine upgrade next year, but that all comes down to also the potential for this Jimny Stockman thing that is being rumoured to be coming out, which is basically like a Ute Jimny based on the longer wheelbase four-door. If that happens, then look, sign me up. I'll get one of those and put a canopy on the back of that for sure. But I'm not really going to talk too much about that until I know that it's less of a rumour and more of a trumour. All right, the other things are, so that was camping, stuff behind the scenes, what's coming up, stuff happening to the car. The other things are gear reviews. So obviously here I am in the Mighty Overlander shed, and like I said, I've got it set up for doing those gear reviews. An interesting topic that was discussed on Pete from WA Camping Adventures, Everyman Chats podcast that he's got. He was talking about, how gear reviews are done on other channels and stuff. I tend to agree with a lot of the stuff that he said on there, basically saying, the idea of doing a gear review on something that you've just pulled out of the box is a little bit silly, and I couldn't agree more. So just so you guys know, my rules of gear reviews are pretty straightforward. So I've basically got three things. First off, I need to be able to use the gear for at least 3 to 6 months. The first gear review that I'm going to shoot in here will be the Nomad PDU that I mentioned before, and I've been using for about 12 months, so I feel that I've had enough experience with that now to actually give you a good, well-rounded idea of what that one's about. It needs to be good gear in the first place. So the thing about micro overlanding is that I don't have the ability to have too much redundancy of the gear that I've got, and if it's crap gear and it fails on me when I'm out remote, then I don't like to just have another one there. So say like Mike with his big 79, or Matt from West Australian Off-Road with his massive Patrol. Those guys have got a bit more space to be able to do, the whole redundancy thing. I just don't have that space. So if it makes it to the gear review table, you know that first off, you've seen it being used in the camping episodes prior, but also it's gear that's made the distance to get there, so it's good gear. It's a bit of a John West thing. It's the gear that I don't do gear reviews on, which means that the gear that I do them on are worth my time and your time. And one of the other rules is the disclaimer thing in regards to coming from sponsors and all of that kind of stuff. Look, I've only really got one main channel sponsor, and that's Wild Track Leisure Australia when it comes to camping gear. It doesn't really make a difference if it's been given to me or not. The way that I do my gear reviews is the same. So, I don't really necessarily feel compromised in that sense because I only choose good gear to begin with. But if you're looking for unboxings and things like that, then you're not really going to get it here. Of course, if I'm doing a mod install on a vehicle, I've got to take it out of the box in order to do it. And Phil and I tend to do an overview opposed to a review on that particular kit, mainly because we're talking about things like build quality, instruction quality, ease of install and things like that, opposed to doing a full functional product review on that piece of kit that's gone in. Say, for example, the winch that we did from Warn. Yes, we did a full install video on it, but I haven't actually had a chance to really use it in the wild all that much, mainly because the Jimny just doesn't get bogged. And the only time that I've used it in anger was to help a guy out whose poor bloody dog wash business had he put his trailer on its side, and I helped him get it back over. So, that's why you haven't seen a full review video on that. I'm not going to make up fictional bloody, bogging scenarios where I need to recover the Jimny from something that it didn't actually get bogged in. So, you know, when those times eventually do come, that is when you'll see me use the kit in the wild, and then I'll be qualified to come back and say, right, this is the kit and this is how it works and this is why it's reliable. So yeah, that kind of stuff. But like I said, you know, you're not going to get unboxings here. That's not how I operate. Apart from that though, guys, look, that's kind of it. There's a fair bit of stuff coming out, in particular on my channel, the Wild Track channel, and the Four Drive and Adventure Show channel. You know, it's going to be fun. You know, good fun 6 months coming up. I really do enjoy my content creation. You know, it's one of those very few outlets that I've got for creativity, and that's the sole reason why I do it. It's a hobby and it's really good fun, and hopefully you guys learn a little bit along the way as well, and hopefully you enjoy the videos. I will be trying to shorten them down a bit. I know they've been a bit long lately, and it's hard to, you know, I'm very new at editing and stuff like that. I've only been doing it a couple of years, and you know, I need to kind of shorten them down. Half an hour, you know, I think is the way to go. An hour and almost 10 minutes on the last one was a bit too much. And I see the difference in the viewership, because people go, oh shit, an hour video, I'm not going to bother watching that yet. And all the time they don't come back to watch it, or they'll only watch it for the 15 minutes and they'll skip through the parts that they want. One of the comments was, you know, 90% fishing and only 5% overlanding and cooking. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough. All right, so I'll dial back a bit on how much fishing there is, especially just me flicking a rod and not catching anything. So I'll try and set that up a little bit better for you. You know, this is a learning process, guys. You know, this is one of those things where, you know, I'm not a professional. You know, this isn't my job. This is just me enjoying myself and having fun. And, you know, I'm not a professional videographer. I'm not a professional, you know, presenter or anything like that. Everything that I do is pretty, you know, pretty genuine, because, you know, I just get out there and have a bit of fun with it, you know. But hopefully, yeah, that will improve a bit over time, because I do genuinely love making this content for you guys. It's great fun. It's a really good outlet for me, you know, just to be out in the bush and just, you know, centre a bit. But look, that's a bit of a mid-year channel update. Probably just me waffling on, but you know what? You know, enjoy anyway. Like I said, please hit that subscribe button, guys. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next episode, whether that be a camping one or a gear review one. I'm about to hook straight into a gear review for the Nomad PDU. That one should be a pretty good review. And I've also got a couple of fishing episodes on the kayak coming up as well. All right, team, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Enjoy.